Do you dread the return of winter each year? At the first snowfall, do you spend your time daydreaming about beaches and sunshine instead? Well, if you're considering moving to a warmer state, you're not alone. According to a survey conducted by Zillow, one of the reasons many Americans move is because they're searching for better weather. Well, today on Across the Globe, we're going to look at the 10 warmest states to live in America. And by warmest, I mean great weather year-round. Number 10, Arizona. Did you know that Arizona is the sunniest state in America? But it doesn't stop there. Its capital is the sunniest city in the U.S. In fact, every year Phoenix sees 300 sunny days. For reference, one of the least sunny states in America, Washington, only has about 165 sunny days per year. But it's not just the sunshine that makes Arizona's weather great. If you like dry heat, you'll be pretty happy here. Temperatures in cities like Phoenix range from the mid-40s during the night in the winter to a little over 100 degrees in the summer. So if you like mild winters and extra hot summers, this may be the place for you. However, I will note that temperatures in Arizona have been on the rise in the past few years, with some predictions even declaring that Phoenix may be so hot by 2050 that it'll be uninhabitable. So you may want to take that into consideration if you're looking into moving here. Number 9, California. California is the third biggest state by landmass after Alaska and Texas, and because of this, its temperatures vary wildly. In parts of Southern California, you might find yourself in a t-shirt year-round, while in other areas you might be wading through snow in the winter. But parts of California are home to some of the mildest temperatures in the country. This is especially the case in Southern California. Look at San Diego, for instance, where weather typically varies from 50 degrees Fahrenheit in the winter to the upper 70s and low 80s in the summer. That's a range of only about 30 degrees. Southern California is also home to some of the sunniest cities in the U.S. Los Angeles, for instance, has 275 sunny days each year, while Fresno has 267. I will note, though, that every state with good weather has its downsides as well. And in California, that's wildfires. This may be reason enough for some of you to steer clear of the Golden State. Number 8, Texas. Texas has seen a ton of people moving to it in recent years, and while a great deal of that is financially motivated, people are also flocking to Texas in search of better weather. While Texas has pockets that are overly hot and humid, some of the state is actually pretty mild. Think mild winters and warm summers, which for some of you may be the ideal combination. Northern parts of Texas can reach as low as 20 degrees Fahrenheit in the winter, but southern Texas has winter temperatures that are in the 60s and 70s. That does mean that summers get pretty hot though. In southern Texas, especially near the Gulf Coast, it can get pretty humid, and temperatures can reach upwards of 100 degrees. But for winter lows of 60s during the day, that might not be so bad at all. Number 7, Louisiana. Humidity tends to polarize people. Some people completely love it and hate dry heat. Others would take dry heat over muggy weather any day. If you fall into the former, Louisiana might be the place for you. In fact, Louisiana is the third most humid state in the country, with 74% average relative humidity. However, humidity doesn't always translate to constant warm weather. After all, the most humid state is Alaska at 77%, and it's definitely not shorts weather there year-round. But luckily, Louisiana is warm. In the southern parts of the state, temperatures rarely go below the low 50s in the winter, and in the summer, temperatures are typically a balmy 82 degrees at the high end. However, remember when I said that every state with warm weather also has its downsides? Well, in Louisiana, that's hurricanes. In fact, Louisiana has the third most hurricanes in the U.S., with 21% of hurricanes that hit the U.S. hitting Louisiana. Number 6, Hawaii. It should be no surprise that Hawaii's one of the warmest states in America. After all, tourists flock to Hawaii for its warm temperatures year-round. In this state, you might find yourself on the beach in December or January just as often as in July or August. That's because the average winter temperature is, get this, 78 degrees Fahrenheit. That's warmer than the summer in some parts of the country. Hawaii's summers, meanwhile, are about 85 degrees. The other great thing about Hawaii is that the water is warm year-round too, so you can take advantage of the ocean whenever you feel like it. For instance, the average ocean temperature in the summer is a balmy 82 degrees, while it's 77 degrees in the winter. No wonder one of this state's nicknames is Paradise. Number 5. South Carolina. South Carolina is one of the fastest growing states in the country, behind only Florida and Idaho. In fact, between 2021 and 2022, it grew 1.7%. And while the draws include a more affordable cost of living and the laid-back charm of the South, the weather is another major draw. South Carolina is the perfect place for you if you like 4 seasons but don't like your weather too hot or too cold. You want it just right. December through February are the coldest months here, but they're still pretty mild when compared to other parts of the country. While lows can reach 34 degrees Fahrenheit, keep in mind that that's overnight lows, when you're likely already going to be inside. During the day, however, winters are much more mild and can even reach the mid to upper 50s. During the spring and fall, you'll enjoy mild temperatures ranging from mid-40s to upper 60s, and summers can reach 90 degrees. Plus, being on the coast, you can enjoy South Carolina beach life year-round. This state has over 2,800 miles of coastline, which means miles and miles of white sandy beaches. Number 4. North Carolina. South Carolina's neighbor to the north, North Carolina also has some pretty great weather. While it's slightly cooler than South Carolina, your pockets may feel a bit better. In fact, a recent ranking by Property Shark listed 3 North Carolina cities, Charlotte, Raleigh, and Greensboro, as some of the cheapest places to live in the U.S. with the best weather. If you're in a city like Charlotte, average lows in the winter are anywhere from 30 degrees overnight to mid-40s to 50s during the day, and the summers can reach up to 90 degrees. Number 3. Oklahoma. You may not think of Oklahoma as a particularly warm state, but in fact, it's ranked as the 11th warmest state in the U.S., with an average temperature year-round of 60 degrees. That's just 1 to 2 degrees cooler on average than states like South Carolina and California. While it can get cold in northern Oklahoma in the winter, if you're in the South, you'll be enjoying some pretty mild temperatures even during the winter. In Oklahoma City, for instance, winter temperatures dip to the low 30s overnight, but can reach all the way to 50 degrees during the day. That puts it on par with states like North Carolina and South Carolina. Number 2. Georgia. If you're a fan of 4 seasons but don't want them drastically different from one another, Georgia may be a great place for you. Unlike parts of the northern United States, which endure freezing cold snowstorms in the winter and suffocating muggy heat in the summer, Georgia has 4 distinct but mild seasons. Take the summer, for instance. In the Peach State, you'll enjoy warm, humid weather with temperatures in the 80s to mid-90s. When fall rolls around, you can enjoy the leaves changing color, but without the freezing temperatures that accompany fall foliage in other parts of the country. In fact, in September, temperatures range from 64 all the way to 80 degrees for Atlanta. Like I said, Georgia gets 4 seasons, so you won't be immune from the winter living here. However, you also won't be dreading going outside in the winter, as temperatures range from the 50s to 60s. And luckily, winter doesn't last long. Spring rolls around come March, with temperatures hovering around the mid to upper 60s. Number 1. Florida. Florida is nicknamed the Sunshine State for a reason. While it doesn't get as many sunny days as states like Arizona, it still comes in at 230 sunny days across the entire state on average. Northern Florida has a bigger variance in weather than southern Florida, with average winter temperatures in the northern part of the state spanning from 50 to 70 degrees and summers ranging from 90 to over 100 degrees. Southern Florida, on the other hand, sees winter months in the upper 70s and summers in the mid to upper 80s. Some years, that's a range of less than 15 degrees. So here, you truly can enjoy the weather year-round. For the most part, because there's one caveat. Like Louisiana, Florida also has hurricanes, and it's actually the state with the most hurricanes in the entire country, with 40% of hurricanes that hit the U.S. hitting Florida. So, there is some trade-off for the rest of Florida's balmy days, but you may, like many others, have decided that it's worth it. What about the states everyone is leaving? Watch this video to learn about that.